The New York Art Collection is pleased to introduce to you American artist Groat II. Hall resides in upstate New York and has been working professionally as a fine artist for over the last 20 years. Since his father is also an accomplished artist, Hall first started painting at the early age of 3 and hasn't stopped since.
And you'll notice the paint is actually blending itself right on the surface. Pulling some of the lights over. So we brought the camera right into this center lemon, so you can see a little bit more closely what's happening with these planes. So here's one plane. Here's the light area, and at this point you can actually go back in with some of the lighter paint, in this case lemon yellow, to build those secondary planes. And it takes quite a bit of time. This is actually one of the more critical parts of the painting. And the more time you spend on this, really looking at the form, usually the more convincing the volume is. Now that I have the secondary planes for the most part established, I'm going to move in and start suggesting some of the detail. There's some branches behind the 3 lemons that I'm going to suggest, and this will take a few tries to get right. Just sort of sketching it and redefining my mark. Then it goes behind. And after I've plotted all of the lines out, towards the end I will go back in, restate some of the values, colors in the background, and at that point I'll soften some of these lines and get them to integrate a little bit more subtly. Suggested some of the detail. I'm going to go back in and restate some of the cast shadows down below the lemons and some of the accents also. Just by painting into it with a tonality that's similar to what's there already. Back with my other brush, and then just modulate, blend that accent right down in. Oftentimes you have to paint right through what you have, as you see I'm doing right here, and then reestablish, and I'll do that with some of the details. Then I'm noticing right in here, I'm going to use the same brush. I just put a little bit of orange red onto it, and picked up some of the brown underneath. I'm going to go a little bit redder. Sort of soften that transition. Here, you know, I'm painting the secondary plane, and I want to keep the edge real soft. I just want that to merge right in. One thing about accents is you don't want them to be overstated. You know, just a little bit. I may have taken a little bit too much off. Come back with that accent. Just a little bit. It's good to vary your accents from one object to another. Now that I've restated the accents, I'm going to go back in with a front light tinge of yellow, Naples yellow and white. And actually there's a little bit of violet in there too. I'm going to try to scumble, just to move the color around. And final stage, I'm going to go in and suggest some of the highlights at the very tops of the forms. With the highlights you put down, at least in this case, I'm going to use pure white, put down some real bold shapes. And then once I've established those shapes, I'm going to take the excess paint out of my brush and carefully modulate, sort of stipple, and create some of the textural elements you'll see on the tops of lemons. There's sort of a crescendo of light that builds up at the top and then it breaks out a little bit, picking up some of the skin. So by doing this, sort of stippling it in, I'm sort of blending it in to the surrounding area also, as I suggest some of the texture of the